So let's move then for the second section of your workshop. The idea now is to have, first of all, one overview of the Cine, and then we are going to later to have the talk of the PIs of the 4 programs that you have, and then I'm the PI of the division of program 2, but as I'm here as a director of the hub, the presentation of the program 2 is going to be given by Gustavo and Hudson. So I'm a chemical engineering background. I'm 35 years at the Unicamp, some experience in several areas related to the renewable energy, and then it's a pleasure to be here and to be together the PIs and the co-PIs and people from Rubens Maciel to develop our work. I will start with some words that our target is there, and we ought to have health, happiness, and prosperity, and the human growth. This is something that was already in the UP slide and in the talk of everybody. And then we really believe in that the sustainability and the sustainable energy you help. It's a little bit weak, but you help for a better world for sure. And of course, sometimes we have to take decisions, and one of them is we must do is to reduce the CO2 emissions and look for new kinds of energy or facilitate the life of many people. I already showed this slide, but I want to reinforce it now that there is a strong and linear relationship with the energy consumption and health, and then the global energy consumption. This is data from 2018, reporting up to 2014. 2020 is going to be delivered the new data that you can update or upload this graphic. In any way, if you look to this graph, this is per capita, the per capita primary energy consumption and the human development index. A lot of high populated countries like India, like say, Brazil, China, and around this area here, using more or less 1 to 2 kilowatts per person. If you look at developed countries, they are talking about 10 up to 30. So if everybody, especially people that are located in these developing countries, wanted to increase their quality of life, we are sure that we don't have available energy for everybody. And that's a critical point if you look for the human development index that you have here and the health, education, and living standard. It matches with that slide that I showed the first presentation with the goals of sustainability. The energy, you help people to have more health, more good education, and the standard of life. And then we have at our hands a good opportunity to collaborate, not only in science, but with human development. That makes us to be, let's say, more motivated to develop this work. Many ways of energy are possible, and then among them, no renewable energy, oil, coal, and nuclear that you are using. Renewable energy, wind, solar, biomass, and geothermal. And now we use the science and technology is going to help us to transform, to use well this natural resource energy that are available, wind, solar, for instance, and the biomass in some way is related with the solar energy. I will talk a little bit more. And we have to have a new vision now. We are talking in the coffee break with the the need to have a multidisciplinarity. We have to understand well thermodynamics, kinetic, transport phenomena, new materials, electrochemistry, and the people who are able to talk and to understand several of these areas of knowledge. We have to have multidisciplinarity, not only in specific areas, but to be able to talk to people that have the basic knowledge in some of this area. That's one requirement that is very good to you in terms of career development and be able to contribute with science technology into new areas. I like to show that we are in a good planet. We don't have options to go to another one and so far, but here we have the amount of solar energy that is available by the sunlight, 1 kilowatt per square meter, and several areas in the world in which you have more or less the amount of sun irradiation. Then one of the good ideas to use this solar irradiation then to get available energy for people. So with this number that is here, there is enough energy to everybody, even if everybody wants to use 30 kilowatts per person, as in the first graph that I showed. But it's not really available to use. That's our mission, one of the missions of the center. Then I like to compare biomass and photosynthetic efficiency. So when you're talking about developing new device and then you see the efficiency is not very high, don't be so worried. Look at what the natural sugarcane is one of these most efficient. It's a C4. I don't know if you have background in biology, but it's a C4 plant. It's very efficient. There's C1, C2, C3, 4. C4 is the more efficient plant that you have to pursue this chemical reaction that is photosynthesis, that brings water, CO2, energy, and then sugars and oxygen. There is synthetic photosynthesis that Yup was showing. But look, the sugar cane is using 0.86 watt per square meter. It's solar radiation, 1 kilowatt per square meter. Okay? So, and why is not that? Because it has temperature control in the plant. So it's not going to increase the amount of energy used to the biomass. And then, if you look, for instance, to one of these theoretical photosynthesis production capacity, sugarcane is about to have 386 tons per hectare a year. We are playing around in Brazil with a very high efficiency agriculture with 85 tons. We have to multiply this by 3 to have this maximum that we may have. So when you have a solar photovoltaic panel that's not playing 100% that you want, don't be so worried. The naturally developed one, very nice sugarcane plantation, you talk about the very high efficiency that you're using much less than 1%, 0.1% of the solar irradiation. Okay? So there is a conflict between electricity, biofuels, and chemicals? No, we are working together in a matrix to supply energy for different ways. We are planning to have scenarios that, as Yup shows, they are scenarios, and to have a long way to go in decarbonization, ways to doing that. But the idea is that is always you have to keep in mind that new technologies may change some of the scenarios that some years ago, people used to say that liquid fuel, they are high energy content, they are not going to be replaced by batteries, for instance. On the other hand, some of the batteries nowadays, they are already with almost the same energy capacity than liquid fuels. So don't think that new technologies is not going to help. They do, and they are part of of our mission. If you look for the anyhow work in UNES, we are talking about 10% of efficiency in the photovoltaic installation using the first generation photovoltaics. It's much higher than the photosynthetic ones. So we are in the right way. Biorefinery, that is one of the mission of our division or program 3, maintain 2 products, is increase the capacity to produce chemicals from renewable or let's say some molecules that are cheaper and available to do chemicals too. So this is the share of total primary energy supply in the world. If you look for that, just to draw the attention that this is, we call modern bioenergy. Modern bioenergy is that energy that is not burning wood or burning something to produce heat or to produce or to cook foods. We are talking about biofuels, produce electricity from biomass. We are just using around 30.5% of the energy matrix in the world, and the 0.7 is liquid, the 0.7 is electricity. For sure, new approaches are necessary, especially when you look for the peak of oil production and you expect to have, it's not going to finish, but it's going to, we are going to be able to be competitive with new technologies in terms of economic point of view, but especially in terms of sustainability. So this is data from Shell. You see that some of this is year, this is type of energy, and this is exajoules. And then you see that solar, biomass, geothermal, hydrothermal, but we'd like to focus on solar energy. You are expect to have a tremendous increase of the capacity to become this energy available. And this is one of the interesting points of our center. So, bearing this in mind, the new energy research center is called Cine, that you are part of it, focus on sustainability and low carbon emissions solutions to provide energy and the chemicals. And we are strongly connected, these 4 programs, by material science and electrochemistry knowledge that makes a link between this program. And then the need of computational simulation, including multi-scale calculations and molecular dynamic simulations to guide us and to help us in all divisions. I know that most of you already know some of these things, but that's the first opportunity that you are putting all the people together, and I want to explore this opportunity to have a general overview of the center. So what you want to do is choose, to perform world-class research in the areas of energy carriers, energy storage, methane to produce, and computational material science and the chemistry. And you are going to do this. That's our mission, your mission too. So, electricity, biochemicals, biofuels, and chemical, again, I'll put this. We are expected by 2050, this is a scenario, but we are moving this direction. The electrical energy are expected to move from 18 to 50%. If you look at the state of São Paulo, we are nowadays with 45% of electricity is renewable. And from the sugarcane bagasse is responsible for 35% of this. So it's a very large number for a state, very high population with a lot of industries in this country. We are, as I mentioned to you, we are working together with this bio pathway that means that you are going to biomass, capturing CO2, and then you process the biomass by technology, biochemical or chemical route. On the other side, you are trying to use the radiation of sunshine to capture this energy that, if you look at here, of course, this solar radiation, the usage profile, and the storage energy discharge that you have. So we have to find ways to accumulate, to use this energy, become it valuable for the population, for the worldwide speaking. So the research areas are in our center are in 4 programs. One of them is dense energy carriers. I will open one slide of each one. I don't go in details because the PIs are going to have more information about that. So the focus here is to new functional materials for hydrogen production from solar water splitting, CO2 photo reduction to products with high added values, low cost, high efficient perovskite solar cells for artificial photosynthesis process. That's one area that Ana Flávia is going to explore to you. And advanced storage energy program, that's the program that I'm the PI, and Gustavo and Hoods are the co-PI that are taking the researches. The idea is to development of carbon-based materials for supercapacitors, design and manufacturing new electrodes for lithium oxygen or lithium batteries, lithium-ion batteries, carbon-based materials plus noble materials, nanoparticles, to using with nanomaterials. The program of methane to conversion to products is in charge of Fabio, that is here from IPEN. It's a formation of several molecules from methanol, from methane and fuel cells, conversion methane to high added chemicals, products coupled with hydrogen, ceramic composites for high temperature, and things so like that. And the division 4, we use it to put it, the program 4 in the basis, because it's with Juarez. It's a basic knowledge for giving support for all the another programs that you have. That's a general view so far. And then very quickly, Ana Flávia is going to expose, so solar driver rotor to synthesize molecules, dense energy carriers programs. And the idea then is to understand the fundamentals of the main solar driver roads to synthesize dense energy carriers using in situ techniques, high performance nanomaterials, and boost efficiency using perovskite solar cells. There is so a lot of activities here. One of them is in situ photoelectrochemical imaging and the synchrotron characterizations, development of devices, increased size of use, large scale, from lab to large scale, and fault anodes and fault cathode synthesis, doping, catalysis investigation, and things so on that she is going to explore. And is some of the organic development of solar cells, perovskite approach, just to illustrate, she's going to talk a little bit more about that. The program 2 is focused on the development of lithium-ion batteries, these supercapacitors. If you look here, as I mentioned before, we are looking for technologies that are the same high density in terms of energy. So we are going to be here with batteries, but on the other hand, the output of energy is a little bit lower compared with the supercapacitors that are in this top left-hand side of the graphics. On the other hand, they have lower energy density. What you want is to go in this direction here with coping both device knowledges. And then we have to answer several questions, as all the divisions, all the programs have to do. Here we have to answer some questions that so far are answered. And what are the main guidelines for this technology? We want to go to increase the capacity, decrease the capacity loss during cycling. We want to decrease this overlap between charge and discharging, understand very well the triple phase boundary management, that is the electrolytes, the cathode, and all the components of a lithium-ion battery and supercapacitors. And we have to study new materials between site measurements that put together the divisions, the program 1 and 2. This is methane to produce, a very short overview of it. Fabio is the responsible, the coordinator, his name here, and he's going to teach us about his approach. He has to develop new catalysts to go from methane to added value products, so he knows how to do new catalysts, understand the new materials. Again, we are talking about new materials, in situ measurements, so are knowledge that you have to be among all the divisions. For that, I'm talking to you. And it's important to mention these advanced electrochemical technologies that put all the things of batteries, supercapacitors, dense energy carriers together in terms of knowledge areas. This method to produce just one way to express what you want to do, new molecules from methane to other chemicals. And the division 4, there's a lot of things to do. Then Juarez provides just one example for us to become easier to talk. But it's a fundamental computational development that guide us in how to cope with the new materials, to understand, and it's a very complex computational mathematical modeling to do the activation energy, how the interaction of materials, of the chemicals, of the materials, how you deal with the surface treatment, a lot of things that are interesting that put all knowledge together. I'm stressing again the connection points that we have because you are not in 4 splitted programs. We are together in 4 programs that becomes a center, and then we have very specific knowledge areas that we have to be accommodated in terms of knowledge together. We have to work together, the students and the researchers of all divisions. So I like to put this picture here. I'm just about to finish to give time for my colleagues to talk, friends talk. This is a traffic light near Brussels. It's a real traffic light. There is just one green light here. When you discover that your time to go, it's time to turn. And then with people horn before you, you understand that your time to go. It's very hard. Why I'm putting this? Because the understanding of science in several ways that we have to do this. Looks like there is a lot of red line for us. Some of them is in yellow light, some of them in green. But as a scientist, as a center that wants to learn and to understand the fundamentals, we are expecting to have a lot of red line. Don't be too anxious to get the answers. We are going to get the answers. The answers. But I like a way, I don't know if it's appropriate, but the best design that the nature made for us is the birth of a child. If you see a birth of a child in the upside down with blood, you don't think that that thing is a good project, but it's work well. We are here. So let's work happy and put the things together, the knowledge together, because you have a long but beautiful way to do. I want to stress that we are going to always to think about life cycle analysis that take account of economic, environment, and social impact of the all new technologies devised. So that's important to make society that you are contributing with sustainability, and also the safety considerations, not in your place that you are working, that's a mission job, but are these roads that you are in device safety to be commercialized? We'll have to think about that. So this is a global research network. We are part of the global research network, and you want to be, and you want to have this collaboration. Then, in this sense, I would like to thank you for the International Advisory Board to be with us here, and all the champions of Shell that are around the world, always talk by phone, by Skype, and here, two times a year at least, and several times that are going to be around the world to exchange experience and knowledge. This is a global research network that we have ready. We are just in 5 to 6 months of existence, but that is the significant number of universities all around the world in research center, and universities in Brazil that built up our center, and this, the outside of Brazil research network that you are building up. That's the research and distribution in the state of São Paulo. It's good you know. You are here in Campinas. I hope that you are well, but you have people from Araraquara, Ribeirão Preto, São Carlos not far, and then São José dos Campos and the São Paulo cities here. So we are in 5 to 6 months, we are having at 146 research and 9 research institutions. It's a very good number. It's sometimes larger than some of the postgraduate programs that you have. That's congratulations for all the PIs for that. And that's the distributions that you have. You'll have a very good number of faculty members, but postdocs, researchers, undergraduates, and the master science students. And I have to remember that the center has to be adapted for the postgraduate program to hire students who have to follow the postgraduate rules to be able to write, to admit new students. And then for the next 2 years, for sure, for next semester, we are going to increase especially this number of PhD students and the master science students because they depend on the postgraduate program of each of our university members. That is the distribution for each of these programs. Is not important because each program has its own way of taking the things. There is the idea is not compare this, but be together all these research centers, all these programs that you are together, but all of them are in a good shape, increase the number of students, and having master science, PhD, and postdoc students to work. We have some already activities in the people management plan, not only to admittance of postdocs that you have to follow some of this way to hire people, but we want to also to work very well in the integration and team development, social skills training, qualification according to the leadership pipeline. We want that the people that go that belongs to the Cine have a differentiate skill in working team, work together, and how you are prepared to be a very good professional, not only to develop our activities, but for your career itself. So integration is an issue that the hub has to do. Then, so we have the creation of a Cine scientific committee. Professor Juarez is the head of this scientific committee. We have a survey almost online of the statistical data of our center. We have a Cine new website that is still in development, but is already there. We have a Cine internal mail list consolidation. We know where people are. We are here in the first annual conference, and we have strategies for communication that is important. We have already, you know that, I'm going very short now, a project management system called Athena, with different levels of hierarchy. Each division, each program has their own way to work with this. And Guilherme and the junior are the responsible to trainment of this Athena system so that people from Shell, people from the hub, the PIs and the co-PIs has going to be a documentation control, quick view about what's going on, meeting control, management reports. The demands of the center are going to be always in the same place, in the same platform. That's just the front page of this is able to help us in the projects, boards, data, a financial overview of progress of each division online. That's a good thing to do, and then you have the project schedule to follow or to discuss how the things are going, and the S curve, the curve to follow the scientific developments or the achievements of the center. We have online communication file sharing using Google Hangouts, that is here. When we talk internally, that's easier for us, and we talk with Shell using Skype for Business platform. So we have integration. We're going to provide all these facilities through all the programs. We have already weekly call with the Shell deputy member of the hub. That's very helpful in this case. We'd like to thank you, Marcelo Moffatti, to be here with us and replacing Giancarlo, and he's doing a very good job with us, help us into driving the things. And as I mentioned to you, Athena is also one tool of communication because you're putting all the information there. This is the Cine Hub government. I'll go very quickly here, but just to show, I'm the hub director, but I have a scientific committee that helps the executive committee of the center to take the decisions. Joint steering committee is going to have a meeting tomorrow with the people from FAPESP and Shell and myself to help us and to guide us in the developmental activities. And you have International Advisory Board always available to help us in the development activities. We have one EKD coordinator, Professor Adilson, TT coordinator, that's myself, and several innovation agents from USP, Unicamp, IPEN, and so on. And then we have here the executive manager, Guilherme, project manager, Junior, human resource manager, Luciana Fidelis, she's not here for personal problems, and we have executive secretariat that's headed by Rita, but we have people, Silvana and one more, and Ingrid here to help us. So we have a team or working team to help you to take the decisions. Here are the 4 programs that I mentioned before. So this is, thanks very much for the Shell Technical Champions. She is not the picture of Flavia Cassiola, but we didn't get it in time. But this is Ryan, thanks very much, Ryan, Sunny, and the Internew to be with us. This is the Joint Steering Committee members, Euclides, that's here from FAPESP, Hernan, Ajay Mehta, and the Yupi, thank you very much to be here with us too. And the leadership team, Adilson with DK, Flavia, Ana Flávia Nogueira, Fábio Coral, Marcelo Moffatti, Juarez Lima, and myself here. And the International Advisory Board, just to know the people that are here, I would like to thank you again to be with us. Michael Tony, Ming King, Nathan Lewis not here, Swan Wei, Aldo Jorio, that thanks very much to be here, to just good arrive today. And this is our front view of your building. The building is already there, that's what it's going to be. Projects are already approved by ANP and Shell to take the final decisions. That's going to be the main entrance, the hub entrance, just to have a feeling. The rubbing meetings rooms, these are in the project that used to be meetings already approved by ANP. The working rooms. And at the end, I would like to thank you again. I hope that I could give you a very quick overview of the center. And we are here to give all the information that you need. So further, we invite the Ana Flávia to talk. Okay. Thanks very much for your attention.